Hello and a very warm welcome to this week's Scene on 7. I'm Steve Brennan. As the nation comes to terms with the premature death of Labour leader John Smith, our thoughts are naturally with his wife Elizabeth and his family. I met John Smith once in Edinburgh and found him to be a thoroughly decent and affable man with a great sense of humour. History will doubtless prove that at a time when our country needs a man of the people, in touch with the electorate and so popular, he has been tragically taken from us. I know I speak for everyone at WMtv, irrespective of their politics, in expressing our sadness at this terrible news. And now, here's the lineup on this week's programme. Nick Wood and Inspector Bob Owen survey the crime scene on this week's police file. Down to Deodora and Slough Town, we paid them a visit. We take a day to look at the day in the life of CNN, the global news network. And we continue our series Freeway this week with Tony O'Rourke. There's cause for at least some optimism on the crime scene this weekend, and our crime busters Bob Owen and Nick Wood have that story and more in the latest edition of Police from WMtv.
Hello, my name's Bob Owen, and this week's programme's coming from Ashford Police Office. Nick will be joining us later on location with some more crimes that you can help us solve. But first, Operation Mousetrap, where we put one of our bikes and waited for a criminal to steal it. Because of your help and the publicity that this operation has received, stolen bikes in Ashford have dropped to nil. We need your help to keep it like this, so if you see anything suspicious, ring 999. Let's put the thieves behind bars. Our first couple of crimes concern people who've been badly beaten. Were you in the Grand Cafe in Staines about 1 AM on Friday the 22nd of last month? Did you see the fight in the bar and later in the toilet? Who was the stocky man wearing jeans and a light plain top? He had collar-length dark hair and designer stubble. He's very violent and seriously injured 2 customers. If you know him, or you can give more information, ring us now on 0784 421 409. Were you in the Woodlands Parade area in Ashford about 6 PM on the last Monday in April? Perhaps you were out doing some shopping. 4 young men were in a blue Metro, and one of them walked into a number of shops and then walked into the grocer and hit the shopkeeper with a small bag of sand. One of the youths is helping us with our inquiries. Who were the others? Did you see anything? 3 people have helped us so far, and we need more witnesses. Ring us now on 0784 421 409. You may have seen on the local BBC and ITV News the latest Met Police initiative in partnership with Threshers, Counteraction. This initiative concerns all cash handling businesses from large stores to corner shops. What the Met Police are offering is specific crime prevention advice that is individually tailored to your business. So far, the Flying Squad has spearheaded a 50% reduction in armed crime last year in the London area. So let's make it harder for the violent thug. Ring us on 0784 421 409, and a crime prevention officer will help you protect your business and your employees. And now, over to Nick.
Thanks, Bob. I'm on a site near to Ashford used by an industrial ground maintenance company as a base and to store their equipment. During the Easter Bank holiday weekend, someone came onto this site with the intention of stealing specific equipment, including this all-terrain vehicle, which is used for ground maintenance. A vehicle must have been used to take this amount of equipment, and this is confirmed by a set of tyre marks which were left in the mud. The thieves forced open a hut and only stole specific items. This suggests two things. Either they were stolen to order for someone in the same line of business, or the thieves intend to start a business of their own. Now let's have a look at all the items that were taken. All of these items I'm going to show you are identical to the ones stolen. There's an orange Echo chainsaw, an orange Husqvarna strimmer, 2 Honda industrial lawnmowers, and a silver Stihl hedge trimmer. And this Honda all-terrain bike which I'm sitting on, this is unique because it has a front mounting bracket for putting machinery onto the front of the bike, and it has these gun clips for attaching tools. In addition to these items, 3 orange Husqvarna chainsaws, a set of gear pullers, 2 Draper toolboxes and a radio cassette player were stolen. If you know who has committed the theft or can give us any more information, please ring us now on 0784 421 409. Now let's go and have a look at the scene of another theft in Poyle. I'm on the Kid Gravina site on the Poyle Industrial Estate. On Wednesday the 13th of April, a Ford Transit containing 2 people managed to breach the security and enter a locked compound within the site. The driver loaded up his van with 206 of these obsolete fire extinguishers, which he probably stole for their scrap value, a mere £100. What the thief didn't know is that the cylinders are highly dangerous and contain a lethal gas. These extinguishers were returned to Kid Gravina for disposal in a controlled environment. An attempt to puncture them could cause an explosion due to the pressure inside, and if the explosion does not cause injury, the methyl bromide released from inside could prove fatal. The gas can be absorbed through the skin or the lungs and has an effect similar to cyanide. If you know who is responsible for this theft, we would like to hear from you. But more importantly, we would like to know where the cylinders are now, to prevent injury to anyone handling them. If you have any information, contact us now on 0784 421 409. The cylinders which were stolen would have no HazChem markings on them. They'd be in a poor condition and would either have a single or a double nozzle underneath. They're in various sizes. I'd just like to point out that they are for aircraft use, and domestic fire extinguishers are not dangerous in any way. Now back over to Bob at the Ashford office.
Thanks, Nick. Were you coming home late from a party in the Sunbury area on Saturday night in the middle of April, the 16th? Were you in the Nursery Road area by Docherty Farm in Sunbury because a callous criminal took 4 rabbits from a hutch and bludgeoned them to death with a blunt instrument? Who is this evil person? If you know or you can help, ring us now on 0784 421 409. Has your local Arthur Daly type offered you or your friends some cheap boxer shorts? Well, at a lower price than the £11 that Tie Rack were going to sell them at. On Friday the 22nd of April, a large white man who seemed to be permanently smiling gave false documents to an air cargo firm at Heathrow and drove out with 6.5 tons of brand new clothing. The white Ford cargo had false plates, but the shorts are the genuine article, with 3 of the few here for you to see. DC Pierce at Heathrow Police wants your help. If you can, ring us on 0784 421 409. So if you see them for sale other than at a tie rack, they're nicked. Although the bike thieves have left Ashford temporarily, they've struck once again in Staines. This time it was racing cyclist Colin Rocher's own special bike. One was a mountain bike and the other a racer. The racer is the only one in this country and is coloured black, made in Belgium, has 16 gears and is valued over £2,000 with the word Quest written on it. His other bike was a Mountain Quest with 21 gears valued at £700. Have you seen these bikes? Where are they? Ring 0784 421 409. And now a warning to all parents. Late last Saturday, a criminal broke into a doctor's car in Hounslow and stole his bag of drugs. They were all inside a black Samsonite briefcase. They were all in special medical containers. These drugs are dangerous. If you have any suspicions or you know where they are, keep them safe and ring police on 999. We'll come and pick them up. Be careful, these drugs can kill. Be aware of stolen tax discs. They came from a mail train robbery of approximately 5 months ago. They're certainly very popular in this area because we've arrested 25 people here in the last 6 weeks. We know their design and numbers, so if you've got one and you display it, we've got you and you've got a criminal record. So don't buy them off a fence. It's not worth ruining the rest of your life with a criminal conviction. The Met Police is hosting a major exhibition of crime prevention and security at 4 New Square, Bedfont Lakes, Bedfont, on the 17th, 18th and 19th of May 1994. It's from 10 AM to 5 PM and the admission is free. Over 30 exhibitors will be present. Crime stoppers and crime prevention officers will be on hand to give advice. The exhibition is mainly aimed at business, retail and industrial premises, but help is also available for those looking to secure their homes. The types of hardware on view are access control, alarms, barriers, CCTV, computer security systems, door entry systems, fencing, glass, lighting and many other things. You'll be made very welcome. That's the 17th, 18th and 19th at Bedfont Lakes. That's all for now from Nick and myself. I think Nick's still out in the pouring rain somewhere. Ah well, goodbye.
He gets worse. He certainly gets worse. Thanks, guys. The privileges of rank self-evident there. No doubt when the summer comes, Bob will be out in the sun, topping up his tan, and Nick will be stuck in the office. Local as well as international fishermen have been devastated by the deaths of 2 European anglers at Savay Lake near Denham. Keith Selleck from Ruislip and Clive Rigby from Frankswood Avenue in Useley were killed when their boat capsized. This tragedy occurred when Keith and Clive were working at the lake preparing it for the carp season, which starts in June. The lake has been closed to the public now until June the 16th. Angling remains the most popular participant sport in the country, and as local fishermen will testify, but the sheer drama that signifies the end of the football season has never been better illustrated than in the Conference League with our own Slough town. Kevin Parsons is the reporter on this piece.
Mr. Thornton, as chairman of the club, obviously disappointed at the final results at the end of the season, but what's the feeling at the club at the moment?
Difficult to say. I think last night when they all came back from Halifax, I wasn't here, but I rang through, and all the supporters that went up there seemed to be not as disappointed as I thought they may have been. And really, it's only 24 hours since it sunk in that we're now relegated. So we'll probably, I shall get a better view on that over the next week or two. But naturally, the supporters will be disappointed. But we'll come back.
Bob, you've just been appointed commercial manager here at Slough Town. What exactly will your role be?
Well, the first thing I'll be looking to do is to change
or improve the image that we've got here at the park. There's some beautiful facilities here. It's not just the football club. We've got a banqueting suite there, and we've got the golf driving range coming on shortly. And I think my initial job will be to make the public, the Slough people, really aware of those facilities, both the public and the business community, because as I say, there's an awful lot of opportunity there, and an awful lot of people in the town right now just do not know this is actually here. We've got a bit of an education process to go through very early on, and that's what we'll really be concentrating on over the next couple of months. Obviously from the footballing side, yes, we'll be playing in the Deodora Premier next year, but there's some very, very attractive clubs in that league. We'll be renewing some old friendships, and we'll be looking forward to some real local derbies next year, and I think the opportunity for sponsorship and getting the business community involved will be very good. Okay, the message we're getting from everybody here at the club is one of optimism. How do you see the season going next year?
I think, you know, we've got to be very, very optimistic. You know, as I say, it's a good league that we're going into. We've got superb facilities. I think with the right team, both on and off the field, everybody pulling together. And certainly in my first week here, it's been a very traumatic week on the field, particularly. But, you know, there is a very, very good team spirit here, and I think that will go through the close season, and I think we'll really be ready for the kick-off of the new season come August.
Andy, you picked up an injury in the first game of the season and had to sit out the next 8 weeks, which must have been frustrating for you. Next season is Deodora League. How do you think the team will fare?
Well, I think the side we've got, we're not far short of having a really good side. Maybe a couple of players, and I think we've got every chance of winning the league and bouncing straight back into the conference next season.
Well, the fans will certainly be looking for a hatful of Sayer goals. What's your message now to the fans of Slough Town?
Just keep coming, keep turning up, keep believing in us, and we'll just be giving it everything we've got to win the league and get back next season.
Chris, you're one of the more colourful characters who's well known here at Slough Town. I think you've seen every home season. What's football been like this season?
The football's been good. The problem we've had is just not putting the ball in the back of the net. We've had our chances, we haven't taken them. We've played teams off the park and haven't come away with the result, and that's all there is to it. It's been like that through the season. We were challenging at Christmas, now we're down the bottom.
Well, it's Deodora football next season. What's the feeling amongst the fans? Are you looking forward to the season?
The guys I've spoken to are going to come back next season, and let's face it, it's going to be a bounce back tour. That's all there is to it.
Now, the club has said it's very important for the fans to get behind them. Is that what's going to happen next season?
I'd like to think so, yes, definitely.
Well, as you can see, despite the news of relegation, the feeling here is positive. Positive that Slough Town will be back in the Vauxhall Conference next season, where everybody here certainly feels that's where they belong. The message from the club to you, the fans, is to get behind the Rebels next season. They need you to help them get back into the conference. This has been Kevin Parsons for WMtv at Slough Town Football Club.
Sad story, and I think it's fair to say that Andrew Barron's editing and the comments of supporters and officials alike tell the story brilliantly. Good luck to Slough Town for next season. It'll take a lot to get back in the conference, a lot of sweat, a lot of determination, and a lot of support. So we'll find out who the real fans of football are. They're the ones who'll still go every week, rain or shine. We're going to take a break there. Still to come in the programme, A Day in the Life, a superb film about one of our most popular cable channels, CNN. And I'll be meeting Keith Jones, WMtv presenter and all-round nice chap. You're watching WMtv, and this is Scene on 7.
So won't you come and help me, whoever you are?
Welcome back. It's 23 minutes past the hour and this is Scene on 7. Update this week focuses on the ongoing row that continues on the subject of Heathrow and its expanding network of runways. Residents of the surrounding community will have to wait now until the end of the year to find out if their homes are about to be bulldozed to make way for it. A short list of 4 sites in the southeast has been suggested for an extra runway, and this will be examined by the government after May 31st, but the decision will not be made until the end of the year. Terry Dix, Hayes and Harlington MP, has urged Transport Minister Stephen Norris to drop Heathrow from the lists altogether. His appeal on behalf of the residents of Harmondsworth, Sipson, Longford and Harlington is backed by a proposed human chain, which is a style of protest on a date still to be notified. If you'd like to add your support to the local campaigns and residents' associations, you can contact Annalise Best on the telephone number 0895 250 111. That's 0895 250 111, extension 2238. She will discuss the options with you. She has all the information and the deadline for that is May 31st. Now for a real treat. If you want to catch news live as it happens, there are a few options. Due to technology, stories can be beamed into our homes almost immediately. At the forefront of news, bringing us the first pictures of the Gulf War and images from many other momentous world events, is CNN. You're about to see an amazing film that depicts the scale of this superb service. I warn you, it begins in black and white.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Let's get started.
Good morning.
We're going to do this week, each day at 4 o'clock, a half-hour live special, and it'll be concentrating on what's going on in what was formerly the Soviet Union. And I realize you're juggling Middle East, but we're going to need either State or White House each day.
Blitzer in today?
Blitzer's coming back, but Blitzer's putting together a piece on the Soviet nukes, which if he could force that for 4, even as a donut, would be perfect. We're going to need some help, and I really want to make this special something worth crowing about, all right? Thank you.
This is the newsroom. This is the heart. This is the middle of where everything happens. This is where all the communications are in the newsroom. This is where we talk to our bureaus around the world.
It's really exciting. You know, you're on the phone all the time. You're talking to places in Africa, you know, Australia. You get phone interviews with world leaders, and you say, yeah, just hang on another 5 minutes, and you've got to kind of cajole them to hang in there, and you've got to kind of schmooze them and keep them going.
A lot of schmoozing. This is the international desk. It's here that we coordinate all of our coverage from outside the United States. That's almost 200 people outside the U.S. It's responsible for coverage of everything from the Gulf War to the crisis in Tiananmen Square to coverage of the Soviet coup.
Ingrid, Sven.
Ingrid, on our...
Hang on just a second.
Fabulous producers, online with Damascus.
Are you,
we have a crew there.
Are you aware of going to Tripoli?
We're there for the Terry Anderson hostage release, and after that they popped into Beirut, conducted a few interviews. Then I discovered that there was some special interest group in Lebanon that was looking for them, so they left.
This is CNN's Daybreak.
Thank you all very much.
This is Daybreak. This is Business Day. For the conscientious consumer.
Are we going to Q-Town or no? Yes.
You bring people here to CNN and they are just, their chin drops. They look around and they see the script rippers taking their scripts, the writers going off to get scripts approved, tapes going left and right, and they just wonder how it all comes together.
When a major story breaks, it's like an earthquake without the feel of the floor under your feet. It's people shouting information to each other. It's us learning from our own air information as rapidly as we can possibly get it out.
We've been in events where one of the Mideast leaders was due to come out and make a statement. The President of the United States was on live on CNN. I could watch the remote. I could see the feed out of the Mideast. We were waiting for this leader to come out, and I could hear CNN on the air in the background. Well, lo and behold, the President of the United States finishes making his statement, and the Mideast leader appears.
Because CNN is a 24-hour news operation, it puts us in perfect harmony with the rest of the world. When the markets are closing in Tokyo, they're opening in Europe. The world, after all, is a 24-hour marketplace. It is a 24-hour economy.
My guess is CNN is seen in over 150 countries.
You'll hear, oh, CNN, we like it, and then they'll start talking to you about, we like you, and you're like, wait, I might need my satellite feed right now. And they're like, well, I really like, you know, Wolf Blitzer, or, well, that's all good, but can I have the satellite feed right now?
Good morning.
CNN Morning News.
Welcome to NewsHour.
Of the airspace of the Soviet Union, an evil empire.
Hello and welcome to our Tuesday show.
People, when they watch CNN and they're watching us continuously, they see a story accrete. It's something that accumulates a bit at a time, piece of information.
Exclusive to CNN?
By piece of information.
Exclusive to CNN. Oh, that is great.
And they feel part of that process. We've seen that. We've heard it from their phone calls.
Hello, this is CNN.
Obviously a major malfunction.
From the world's financial capital.
People were panicking.
Behind you.
It is a delayed
Bernard
victory.
Shaw in Washington.
The whole fruit
On CNN Sports tonight.
the fruit.
We're unique in this respect as we're here all the time. People can come to us on their schedule.
We think of what we are doing in a whole different way. The whole design of the control room is made to go on the air now.
It has led to a democratization of information where people in the third world get the same information at the same time that people do in the first world.
The hostage stories. Live TV. Live, yeah, we can either come up live on a satellite or we can get somebody on the phone immediately, whereas the networks are the other networks are in a football game or something like that, which they're certainly not going to break into.
We're all single focus on getting it on the air, and until recently, single focus on beating the competition. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be a lot of competition left.
This is News 9. Tear down this wall.
News without borders.
Shot down an Iranian airliner.
You're no check.
The whole sky is open.
Welcome to Crossfire.
I need Oman, I need Saudi Arabia, I need the White House, I need the Pentagon.
We have executive producers and producers who have a vision, okay? And they express that vision to the crew, sometimes very loudly.
Open French's mic. Open French's mic. Talk to him, David.
At times it means that people yell at one another.
Get the French on the air.
Screaming at you.
This room is full of people that want to know information desperately so they can tell somebody else.
It's always fun having to wake up a reporter in the middle of the night, too, you know, and something happens here. And
coup in this country, right?
Yeah, there's a coup in your country, so get out of bed and go and cover it.
It was as though the people here had been in training for a decade. In training at Tiananmen Square, with baby Jessica in the world, with the San Francisco quake.
People are here for the reason that we're doing it and nobody else is doing it, for the reason that we're live, for the reason that we're not doing marshmallow journalism. We're doing the real thing.
Most businesses, sooner or later, turn off the lights. Our business never ends. So you never really get that end of the day, hey, that was great, or this or that. You have to sort of pick your moments of victory from the air because it never stops. It just keeps on moving. It's the sun's coming up somewhere all the time.
Showbiz today.
This is style.
Have to retire from
You turn the conversation to a discussion of sexual matters.
College football preview.
Welcome. I'm Mark Levin. My problem was I ran out of bullets.
CNN Health News. Good evening from Washington.
Read my lips.
Saddam Hussein is not with me, gentlemen. It's just CNN.
CNN is available on Channel 17, and if there is a more compulsive viewing available, I'd like to know what. Incidentally, for news of a more national and British and European, indeed, perspective, don't forget Sky News is also available on Channel 12. Trading standards officers have been given the go-ahead for children to make test purchases to gather evidence for the possible prosecution of retailers who sell fireworks to those under 16. Fireworks aren't restricted to November the 5th these days. They are available all year round, and that's the reason for it coming at this time. The vote at a meeting of Berkshire County Council supports the Public Protection Committee's strategy of preventing the illegal sale of cigarettes, videos, alcohol, as well as fireworks to young people. So, any shopkeeper stupid enough to do it, you have been warned. All right, time now to take a further look at the ongoing battle over the M4. In a moment, I'll be talking to the regular presenter of Freeway, Keith Jones, but with this episode, here is Mr. Tony O'Rourke.
to spend your Saturday morning then standing in the rain on Windsor Road in Slough with the protesters from BAMM, Berkshire Against More Motorways, who are trying to stand in the way of a motorway, a 12-lane motorway, which will cost the taxpayer £240 million just for one section between Langley and Maidenhead, and there are already plans to extend this beyond Reading in addition to the existing plans for the M3 and M25. John Wilding, you're a university lecturer and also now an environmental protester.
That's right, yes.
You found a bit of a problem with the DOT's map of this area as it's going to look when the work is finished.
That's right. Yes, I bought at considerable expense, I may say, the DOT's booklet, which is available, and I was looking at it wondering how wide the bridge was going to be, and I looked at their little scale on it and matched it up against the bridge, and I thought, crumbs, this bridge is going to be over half a mile wide. And I thought again, no, surely even the Department of Transport couldn't do that to us. So I got out another map, the Ordnance Survey in fact, and I matched them up, and I found the scale which the Department of Transport had put on their map was in fact completely wrong. They had a scale which showed 2 centimetres to a kilometre, and actually it should have been 20 centimetres to a kilometre. So everything looked 10 times as big as it was actually going to be.
Well, that's great. You've pointed out a mistake on their map. They'll come back and they'll say, thanks for pointing that out. Here's a revised map, and they'll still go ahead with the work.
Indeed, indeed. I think the point about this is it shows that their work was done not very carefully. Now, I've managed to find this mistake, but there are lots of other figures in their documents about noise and motorway traffic and so on, and predictions. Now, if I find that their map is wrong, how do I know that any of these other figures are right? It does suggest that perhaps they haven't quite given it enough thought.
No more M4! No more M4!
Tessa Wilding, you're a member of Berkshire Against More Motorways, and you've organised this vigil this morning. What's it all about? What is the vigil about in the rain on a Saturday morning?
Well, we thought that we should have some sort of a regular event so that people who are in the campaign can keep in touch with each other, which is part of the function. So it's social and communication for people within the group, but also obviously to raise our public profile, keep up public awareness. We chose this spot because it's a good spot, right next to the intersection, which is proposed to come off the M4 just behind us. And people do seem to enjoy coming. We have quite a party atmosphere. We organise children's activities every week, and everybody has a cup of and a good chatter.
Well, why are you doing it in the middle of nowhere? I mean, we're on the side of a motorway here that no one on the motorway up there can actually see you. On the side of the road here, there's a little bit of traffic going by, but I mean, apart from that, no one can actually hear you chanting no more M4 apart from us. And I know you've got a television camera here today, but normally nobody else would hear you. Why aren't you right in the town centre where everyone can see you?
We are about to start having a stall in the town centre. In a fortnight's time, we're going to have a regular stall there as well. But we thought this was an appropriate place because a lot of people who live here stand to be directly affected. And although you say drivers can't hear us chanting, they can certainly see our signs, and a lot of them are showing that they agree with us by the fact that they're tooting and waving and generally approving us.
George Childs, you're the Vice Chairman of the Ivor Liberals. How do you stand on this?
Well, the real need that we have is for more possibilities for cyclists, and also we need more public transport. At the moment we've got people driving motor cars, and we're hearing about people who are partially sighted driving motor cars because they've got no alternative. If there were public transport, they would use it, and we wouldn't need more and more motorways for businessmen, everyone else. It's as though the only people who have rights are those who have a motor car or access to one. And many of us don't have motor cars or even access much of the time.
No more M4.
Well, they're going to put in an access road here to the M4. Surely that's not a bad thing, because it's going to provide access right into the town centre for traffic off the M4. That means more traffic, more people coming into the town, more prosperity for local businesses and shopkeepers. What's wrong with that?
Well, it's going to cause tremendous crowding on this road, and there's another access road also in the town, and nothing is to be done to the local roads to cope. The local authority has said it is not going to widen the roads. Also, the main use of this motorway, the times it's really crowded, if you stand on a bridge and watch, is people going into London first thing in the morning and coming out in the evening. It's basically commuter traffic. On the DOT's own figures, only 1/6 of the traffic on the motorway is lorries. So it's not primarily traffic which is moving goods. It's traffic which is moving one person per car in and out of London. And it seems to me that, you know, they've taken a sledgehammer really to crack a nut almost.
Councillor Paha, you're the head of the planning committee at Slough Council. When the traffic comes off the motorway here, down this new access road, it's going to go onto this two-lane carriageway all the way down there where it becomes one lane. So from like 12 lanes down to one. Isn't that going to cause a bit of a bottleneck?
I think it should be a chaos in Slough when it comes all the traffic coming from 12 lanes to one lane. It will be a madness actually. It's not a motorway widening, it's motorway madness actually.
You're the head of the planning committee for the local council. Haven't the Department of Transport actually consulted with you and told you that they're going to do this?
Well, actually, it came as a sort of bombshell to us in the first place when we learned about it. And then they sent us all these consultation papers, and they're asking our views, and we have given our views and objected very, very strongly against this motorway widening.
This is just another chapter in the M4 story. We'll bring you more as and when it comes in here on WMTV. This is Tony O'Rourke in Slough.
Thank you, Tony. Now, my guest, as I mentioned earlier, is the regular presenter of Freeway. He's the co-star of the Cable Corporation's customer service film, and he's Keith Jones. Keith, welcome to the studio.
Welcome, Steve. No, thank you, Steve.
That's quite all right. You did that. Someone else did that once. I can't remember who it was. Steve Williams.
Because I'm so used to being on that side of it and asking questions. You say welcome
Here
automatically.
they are. Go on, ask away. You won't get as good a
I
response.
might turn the tables. You never know.
What impression have you got filming Freeway from the bulk of the people that you've met? They're all of different backgrounds, different political persuasions.
That's
What's been your overall impression?
I'm not sure that I'm pleased or disappointed, really, because most of the people that we've met have all been against the motorway, which is, I think, probably what you'd expect. And what is difficult to find is somebody who's for it. Now, even when we interviewed somebody from the Department of Transport, which we did once, we couldn't get them to talk about the new project. All they would talk about was previous projects, and it was sort of saying, well, this is a project we did last year, and look how successful it's been, and look, we took care of the environment, we did this, that, and the other.
Can't get a straight answer from a politician is the crux of that.
Yeah, so it's been difficult in terms of getting somebody who opposes it. Hopefully that will change as the project gets further and further. Interestingly enough, it's the type of people, as you said, come from all different walks of life. I mean, you saw people that Tony was interviewing there, some with, you know, some of the guys that I've met, they got ears through their rings through their ears. Yeah, ears through their rings through their ears, through their noses, and then you speak to somebody else who's got a business suit on, and and they're all sort of amalgamating together to sort of fight this motorway, really.
But the bulk of the opinion seems to be that you can't really find anyone who's pro the damn thing.
No, not at all, no.
As well as presenting for WMTV's, Freeway's been a successful series. You run a successful production company. Tell me more about that. I mean, it's a success story in itself.
Well, I hope so. But, it's been hard. I mean, we've been going about 9 years now as a company. It's been tough through the recession, I mean, particularly because part of what we do is create productions, make videos and so on. So obviously 3 or 4 years ago when budgets were cut, videos was the first thing to stop. So we're coming out of that and things are looking pretty good. Get involved in all sorts of things from producing training videos, corporate videos.
Like the Cable Corporation?
Yes, sell-through videos as well. We've got 11 titles in different stores throughout the country, ranging from healthy matters right through to programs for children.
And if you can take it through the recession successfully, presumably it it's the springboard to greater things.
Well, I hope so. I mean, I wouldn't like to sort of say that in 12 months' time. You know,
question, really, but there we are.
Be knocking on the door of recession again.
If all of that's not enough, you partner Terry Adlam.
That's right. Well, Terry and I, sounds very incestuous, but we not only do we work together, but we do this double act called Live from Las Vegas, which has actually appeared on cable occasionally, but not too often, thank goodness, for the people at home. And it's a comedy duo. And what we've done at the moment, we've actually just put a TV pilot together. So we're talking to people like Channel 4, also Lifetime Productions, who's a big producer, and we're sort of knocking on their door and trying to get our way through there. Actually took it down to, there's a...
Here we go, name-dropping time. Name-dropping time.
We took it down to the film festival, the WMtv Film Festival.
Where was that, in Wigan or Scarborough?
No, it's a bit further south than that.
Sort of France?
Yes, that's right, yes, that sort of area.
Cannes.
Yes, that's right, yes. Yeah. So we were down there a couple of weeks ago, and that was very good, and we had a lot of interest, particularly from Spanish television, who want us to do something for Spanish television.
Great, sounds good.
So,
as if all of that wasn't enough, and I mean, you know, Terry Adlam and the comedy bit, and you're doing these live performances. You recently
the famous Terry Adlam.
The famous, I'm sorry, the famous Terry Adlam of Channel 4 fame. Yes. You recently recorded this show at the Rotunda. How was it received live?
It was very well, very well. I mean, some of the guys here actually helped us put the show together, and I was very grateful for that. It was probably better than we expected. We'd done this pilot. It's 29 minutes long, real TV-size type pilot. We wanted to test it in front of a studio audience, and we invited 100 people, thinking we might get 50 people to come, and 150 people turned up.
Great.
So that was quite incredible. So we did a small cabaret before the show was shown, sort of an introduction. Then we actually showed the show, and then we did a sort of cabaret at the end of it, and it was good. It was very good.
On the subject of comedy, what makes you laugh? I mean, who would you try and emulate, let's say?
Oh, well, I don't think we try to emulate anybody. I think you get influenced by various
I think Terry's got his own style, anyway.
That's right, yes, I don't think anybody can emulate that. I think you get influenced from people from when you're a kid. I mean, I think both Terry and I agree that Morecambe and Wise were the greats, really, and for those people who don't know, I think it's 10 years since Eric Morecambe died on Saturday, and there's a tribute to Eric Morecambe on TV on Saturday night.
Sure.
So something to watch out there, particularly for the younger people, because there's a lot of young people coming up who've never seen Morecambe and Wise and so on, so it'd be a shame for them not to see it. Other influences, I love Fawlty Towers and those sort of comedies. And going back even further than that, not that I remember them from the first time round, but things like the Marx Brothers and even Laurel and Hardy, I'm afraid.
There's nothing wrong with that. They're all classics. They're all classics.
Indeed, yeah.
Actually, I mean, you say about Morecambe and Wise and their style is dated, really. It's classic. And funnily enough, probably the name of the moment on television, Chris Evans, I think is very reminiscent of a lot of what Morecambe does. I mean, they even sing the Morecambe theme song at the end of The Toothbrush. So it's still alive and well.
Oh, I think so. I mean, we've gone through a phase of alternative comedy, and to me, alternative comedy is not funny. I mean, that's why it's called alternative. But I think it's going full circle now, and you see a lot of the new comics coming up. There's a new guy who, I can't remember his name, but he won an award up in the Edinburgh Film Festival, and if you look at him, he looks like Norman Wisdom, you know.
Cardboard cutout.
That's right.
All this leaves you with precious little in the way of spare time. When you get any, what interests do you have?
Well, work and obviously WMtv and so on does take a lot of my time up, but I'll tell you what I do enjoy is a glass of wine and standing in front
last week.
standing in front of the stove and actually cooking something, actually creating something.
What sort of cooking?
Mediterranean cooking, really. I mean, I love Italian food, French food, particularly. I mean, did I mention I was in the Riviera a few weeks ago? I did, actually.
You did,
yeah,
actually.
Yeah. Down there, I mean, the food is absolutely fabulous. I mean,
gorgeous.
And the sauces, I mean, you know, absolutely tremendous. And I try to emulate some of that. I mean, obviously, it takes top chefs years to learn how to do it. But I sort of get in the kitchen and I sort of get a few herbs out and knock a few things together. It's great fun.
All of this is inspirational stuff for the gelling that's going on in your head at the moment with the proposed new programme.
Well, it's not so proposed now. I've actually spoken to the powers that be here, and actually it's been given the green light, so it's good.
What's it going to be called? I mean, have you got a title?
Yes, it's got a
title. What sort of format will it take?
It's got a title. It's called If Keith Can, You Can. And the idea
Any
is...
reason for that?
Well, basically, if I can do anything, then anybody else can have a go at it, really. The idea is that, I'm sure like yourself, you see some sort of perhaps out of the ordinary things that other people do. I mean, jet skiing, paragliding, hot air ballooning,
You're going to get to go in the camera with you when you go paragliding. That'll be good.
Plenty of volunteers. Scuba diving, all these sort of things that perhaps people think, oh, that's a bit out of the ordinary, but really deep down inside, they'd like to have a go, right? Now, to a certain extent, I'm a bit like that, and a lot of these things, you sort of say, well, you have a list of things you'd like to do, you know, my wish list in life. And I've probably got about 30 or 40 things on my wish list.
And you're going to tick them all off and
make a program about and make a program on each one. But more than that, it's not just me getting a go at what I want to do, which is obviously great. But it's obviously showing other people what can be done. Because I'm no superhero. I'm not Arnold Schwarzenegger.
You sure?
Well, maybe, but
go on.
Not at all. And it'll give people an opportunity to say, well, if Keith can, I can really, and that's the idea. And we'll give them details of what's available, things to get out. And once they finish watching Scene on 7, they can switch the TV off and go out and do something interesting.
I'm glad you threw that in. I'm glad you threw that in. Now then, let's say the viewers want to get involved in this idea, if they've got something they might like to perhaps see you try out and hopefully succeed at, why don't we get them to write in?
Yeah.
We'll give the address at the end of the program. We'll mark it for your attention and see what happens.
Hell, I don't mind. Yeah, we'll give it a go.
Is there anything you wouldn't try?
I'll see what the list comes in. I guess I'd like to try anything, really. I mean, you get one go at this life. It's not a rehearsal, so let's have a go at everything, really.
Life's rich pattern.
Indeed.
Gaining experience in TV presenting and with all the other things you do, craft and your cooking, etc., etc., etc. What are your ambitions? What do you hope to achieve?
Well, it's been work. You know, we did have a chat before the program.
Sure.
We ask all these questions beforehand.
Yeah, you have to, because otherwise they get the right answer.
What would I like to do? I mean, I would like to do what you're doing, Steve, be a great presenter.
Oh, no. Who told him to say that? Which one of you? Which one of you? Right, Keith, pleasure talking to you. I'm glad we got you in the studio finally.
Yeah.
Good luck with the rest of Freeway and all you do with Croft.
Indeed. Well, what might happen, and one thing I must say
Go ahead.
about Freeway is that you saw Tony doing it, and Tony probably will be doing a few more if I be doing
I know what you're going to say now.
But I must say that the person who actually comes up with all the ideas and everything is a lady called Rosemary Munsey, and she doesn't get enough appreciation because she works very, very hard on the project.
We mentioned her on the programme after several of them.
All right, and it's Rosemary really who's doing all the hard work, and she deserves all the credit.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Keith Jones. If you would like to write to us on any subject, either in this week's programme or not, we'd love to hear from you. The address is, as usual, Scene on 7, WMtv, P.O. Box 7, Slough SL3 6ET. And if you'd like to leave a message on the excellent 24-hour moving magazine service, you can do so by calling 0753 811 817. That's 0753 811 817. Time to go now. Thanks once again to my one guest this week, meeting you, Keith, once again. Thanks also to all the team here at WMtv, and I hope you'll join me and guests and all the stuff next week for Scene on 7. In the meantime, I hope to see you again at 5. The rest of the times are on the Moving Magazine service. Goodbye for now. Let's have a good day, lads.